Hey, what's up guys? My name is Julian Jari. I'm a filmmaker living not too far outside of New York City. And today I'm going to show you how I am matching the red Gemini to the Panasonic GH5s. So I'm currently in post coloring this film my wife and I shot in Kenya back in February. So I've found my look, I've done a few level passes, and right now I'm doing color and saturation passes. And I made it to this frame where this young girl is being interviewed by us, and we've got the red Gemini and the GH5s here, and this match I actually posted on Instagram while we were in Kenya, excited that the cameras got so close and you guys were really excited. So as I am literally here right now about to properly finally match these two frames, I really wanted to give you guys a fly on the wall live view into kind of my mind and how I approach something like this and my workflow, of course. So let's dive in. Okay, so here we are in Final Cut Pro, and I just started doing a couple things before I realized, hey, I should make this video and share this whole process with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just give you a little run through of this whole situation. So here's camera A, here's the red Gemini, and what I've done is I have an adjustment layer going over the entire project, and it has my look. So I've got all sorts of things here, and I'll give you guys a longer video breakdown of what in the heck I'm doing here. But basically I've got a log to IPP2 conversion. I've got a personal LUT I've made myself. I've got some desaturation going on. I've got a vignette going on across the board. I've got some more desaturation and HSL curves. And then I have some film convert grain. And that is just an adjustment layer, again, over the entire project. So what I have here is the GH5s, and the first thing I'm doing is I'm converting, give me a second here, I'm converting Vlogl, 10-bit 422 Vlogl shot on the GH5s, and instead of going into Panasonic Rec709, or instead of going to like the GH LUT, what I'm doing is I am converting Vlogl to log 3G10 red wide gamut. That's converting the Vlogl into the same log that the red shoots. So people from DaVinci Resolve will know a lot about color space transforms, but if you're in Final Cut or Premiere, you may not. So there's a couple ways to do this. You can either go into DaVinci Resolve and do it, or you can go to a thing called LUT Calc, which I love, and you run LUT Calc or you download it. Let's run it online. This is a place where you can make your own LUTs. And you're going to pick the camera. So there's no GH5s, so we could pick the GH4, or we could pick the Vericam 35. I wonder, picking the GH4, okay, I'm going to pick the GH4. I think the Vlogl is more similar. So we're just going to make a pass-through LUT or a color space transform LUT by doing this. So you're going to pick your camera, you're going to pick the gamma and gamuts that you filmed in, which is in this case Vlog and Vlogl, yada yada, and then we're going to choose out. We're going to choose red log 3G10 and red wide gamut RGB. We can preview these things, but since we're not in Rec709 world right now, it doesn't really matter. And then we can just name it whatever we want and press generate LUT. So that is how I've got to this LUT here. So as you can see, here's the Vlogl, and then we're going to convert to log 3G10. Now, of course, potentially, it's not perfect, right? Because it's not the same camera. But it is in the same world now. So what I like to do next is I like to get this B camera right up next to my A camera. And I can even play like this kind of thing. This helps me so much visually to match these two cameras. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my adjustment layer that's just overarching the entire project back on. And that's converting everything back to all my adjustments. This is my final look for this specific frame. Let's just confirm. And just so you know what I'm doing on here, just for fun, I'm doing some other stuff. So I'm brightening it up. I'm working the hue a touch because this was yellow, and some more saturation. So, okay, finally, let's get into it. Let's match this to this. So, what do you notice first? I notice that, oh, let me backtrack. This was off. Okay, so here we go. What do you notice first? I notice that the GH5s is super washed out and needs to be brought down levels wise. So I'm going to pull my levels down. I'm going to get it into a ballpark. I can kind of look over here and kind of match them. But again, what's really cool, hopefully, about these tutorials and future tutorials like this is I haven't pre-recorded this. I'm literally thinking about this right this second, doing it right this second. So my hope is that this kind of live, in my mind, fly on the wall stuff is really helpful to you in figuring out how I think and how I approach something like this. So I brought the levels down, as you can see. And the next thing I notice is the color, obviously. This looks more greenish, yellowish, and this looks more reddish. So let's trust our tools, not our eyes, for a second. And let's draw a shape mask. I think I've already done it here. Yep. So I've already done that there. I'm choosing the side of the face that has the natural light coming in through the window. I don't want walls or something to skew her skin tone. So I'm choosing that. And then I'll do the same thing for this one. Something like this. Okay. And you see we've got some stuff going on over here. So you see this one's a little brighter. But most importantly, let's play with color right now for a second. You know what? Let's get those correct for a second. Let's bring these in the ballpark. Whether or not it's perfect yet, we're not too worried about perfection yet. We're taking step by step. We're brushing paint. We're getting it there. It's gonna get there. So, all right. Let's just look solely at this vector scope. And so if I just turn the red Gemini camera on, you can see my skin tone is almost about perfect. It's right on the skin tone line. If I turn the GH5s on, you can see it's leaning towards red. That's the discrepancy. So we're going to pick the hue of this color, of this skin tone, and we're going to take it potentially 2 or even 3 clicks over until it's on that skin tone line. And then we'll remove the shape masks and see where we are. Okay, so instantly better, instantly closer, pretty darn close, right? I mean, I feel good about this. What I will do now is I will go back to my hue and saturation, wondering if I went one click too far, just for the sake, just for the heck of it. I think I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one click towards red. And I'm just eyeing her face, and I'm seeing the detail here on this side, and I'm seeing the kind of crushed blacks on this side. And I want to do something about that. So what I'll do is kind of go into this world. I don't have everything selected perfectly, but it gives me a ballpark, and I can also use my eyes here. But right, so if I, let's see, is that working? Yeah. So if I look here, you know, things are in this, you know, 3-4 range of the blacks. So I can kind of bring this down to like that 3-4 range of the blacks. Maybe I can raise her mids up. It's not going to look the same, right? But it's going to look close. I want those whites to be matched. Mids down. Blacks up. Okay. I could potentially stop there. You know, one thing you'll notice about the GH5s is how sharp it is. I could sharpen the whole all the red footage, but we can go over this another time. I'm not going to do that. I'm kind of in this vintage filmic vibe, so I'm adding grain. I'm not adding sharpening. I don't want to add sharpening. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to blur. You guys might think I'm crazy, but some people know what's up. So I'm actually going to blur the GH5 just a touch, just so it's not as sharp. Or sometimes I watch videos, like I was just watching a friend's video, and how I could tell the difference between the GH5 and the red was that the GH5 was just super sharp. So now we're here. Next thing I notice is that this may potentially, and especially this blue, just barely have a little bit more saturation than the red. So maybe like a couple clicks down, maybe. But I think for my uses, I think I'm about there. No. So I'll tell you what I do next. Next, I will forget this crop thing, and I will bring it back to full screen. And then I'll switch back and forth between the two and get a final look. What's cool about this film is we just used this shot barely once. So here's this shot, and here's this shot. I mean, heck, dude, this is like right there. Nothing screaming at me at all. Maybe these highlights have like a slight cyan to them, maybe. I don't even know, dude. This is pretty on the money. So I'm going to leave it here. I hope this helped you. Let's just do one more run through of what the heck we're doing. So let's go to the red. Let's turn everything off of what I've done here. Let's just turn everything off just for the heck. Just to give you one more rundown. So here's red log. Here's vlog. Sorry. Here's vlog. I'm transforming vlog to red log. So now they're both red log. I'm applying my whole look, which is this red LUT, which converts log into IPv2. That's the main transform LUT. I've got a little bit of vibes here with LUTs. I've got some desaturation, some vignetting, some grain. And then on the red, I've got very minor levels and HSL just to kind of get the color correct. And then with the GH5s, I am doing a lot. I'm bringing levels down, and then I'm just doing HSL to match. I mean, look at the difference there, how red that is. And then, again, trust the tools, don't trust your eyes. That obviously looks super green in comparison. But look at the skin tone line and see where it's at. And then I'm doing a little blur, and boom, boom. You can almost, this almost has a slight, this almost has a little too much saturation in here, doesn't it? Maybe a touch more. Oh, let me do this. Something that's really cool. These walls were really saturated, but I wanted to keep the color in her skin. So what I did, or what I'm gonna do right now and show you, is like this little vignette right here, right on her skin, and then everything away, which is like all that orange, I'm gonna desaturate. So see that? And not crazy, just like that much. And it just takes the edge off that oversaturation. So here's my final camera B and A and B and A. So guys, I hope that these style tutorials where it's a little less produced, it's kind of live, fly on the wall, insight into kind of my mindset as to how I do this kind of stuff is helpful to you. I know that from just gathering information every day, I learn something new all the time, every day over the years, through online or in person, just gathering. So if you grabbed only one tip or one trick or one thought from today, that would be a win for me. So I hope all is well, keep safe, and until next time, I'll see you later.